大家好，我今天很开心给你们看这个录像。我这个录像里面就是教你们怎么做燕窝汤或者燕窝。这个是bird's nest soup, so essentially bird spit, and this is such a Chinese delicacy. I was basically just saying that I'm going to show you guys how I make bird spit soup, and you can keep watching if you want to know how. Good morning, guys. I'm so excited because I'm making a different kind of breakfast this morning, and I'm going to be making it in this cutie little pot. If you haven't guessed already, I'm going to do bird's nest soup, and this is like such a Chinese delicacy. I'm going to get started right now though because the water's boiling. Essentially, this is my bird spit, and I've had this in like water for the last 2-3 days, and I've like changed the water every morning, every night. And basically what she looked like before was this. Okay, let me just like do this and then I'll show you guys. Here I'm adding 2 cups of water. So this is what she looks like. She was in the fridge for the overnights, but basically like separated them so each strand of spit is nice and separated. Now my pot is all filled up with the bird spit. I'm gonna cover it up and then put it into this pretty deep pot to steam, and I'm gonna steam it for 30 minutes. Okay, so as I was saying, bird spit, essentially bird's nest soup. This is like such a ancient, like Chinese, Southeast Asia delicacy. Why is this so good for women? Why is it a big immune booster? It is believed and sort of, understood within the culture that it is, full of antioxidants, full of glycoproteins, and it just has so many insane sort of like health benefits and health properties. Really good for like skin rejuvenation and anti-aging, wrinkles, all of that. So I'm gonna put like a full list of what the benefits are because these are just kind of things I remember off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's so many more like scientific sort of like stats about it and all that. But what's really cool is why is it so expensive and why is it so hard to harvest is because these nests are in like really, really far high trees. So they have to manually have workers and people go up to get it. So much so that I think there was a period they even had like monkeys and trained like animals to get it for them because the circumstances were so harsh and like hard to harvest. I'll show you guys what it looks like dried. So I don't have much, I just have a little bit in here. You can see that it's very dry. So essentially with this, I put it into a bowl of water, and that was just like cold water, and I let that kind of just like soak for one night. And then after that, next morning, I changed the water again, made sure not to spill any of the bird spit, and then kind of let that be. Another thing, by the 3rd day now, when I was doing it last night, you guys could see my mom was also showing me how to do it. You basically are like separating every like sliver of spit, if that makes sense. It sounds really gross, but if you really think about it, it's like kind of amazing that this is nature and like natural, and you can get this at traditional Chinese medicine stores, but it is really hard to find because it's like very, expensive and all that. There are a lot of places that are not actually selling this. They're claiming that it is this. I even see it in the grocery stores, like bird spit soup, and like they almost say, it's already pre-made and stuff, but the actual amount of bird spit, you don't know, or you can't track how much is in there. So we've always at least with my mom, we've always done it the old fashioned way, which is like buying it directly and then like doing this whole process ourselves. And I was like really thinking about it, and I think it's very similar to sea moss. Not similar, but in terms of like the properties and why people eat sea moss, and like that I think is very popular in like Western sort of new age, like LA, health and all that kind of stuff. I don't know too much about sea moss. I guess I'll put sea moss benefits here versus bird's nest. I'll do a little comparison. One is very new and one is very, very old and ancient. So bird's nest, at least for me, my mom took it a lot in her young adolescence life. I think when she was in her 20s to 30s, and I kid you not, it's why she looks like so good for her age. I'm not even gonna say how old she is, but anyways, after this in 30 minutes, I'm gonna actually add on some sugar, and you can definitely like jazz it up more, but I just like to keep it simple, so I'm just gonna show you guys how I do it. And I have not eaten anything yet this morning. The premise and sort of the goal is to have it on an empty stomach, and I don't even think I'm gonna have coffee after, just because I don't want anything to, you know, mix up and get kind of, you know, queasy for me. Okay, and like I think the reason I've been hesitant to try sea moss is because, again, it's very new, so you don't really know what it's like for, you know, women that take it 10 years later or 20 years later, how it really affects the body, if that stuff is like even absorbed and all that kind of stuff. But I think with my mom, because she took it and I can see her every single day, and I see, you know, how her skin looks compared to like her sisters. She has 2 other sisters, and she's the middle sister. And I might be biased, but I think she looks the best. She had it really part of her diet. So that's kind of my goal, is to have it sort of frequently, weekly. But I have a pretty chill day ahead of me. I have a call, like consultation with a clinic, and they are kind of gonna go over some of the treatments they have. I'm not like looking to get anything done. I don't think I would ever get anything like other than a facial, if that makes sense. I do pride myself on being natural and not having any filler, Botox, all that stuff. But they reached out to me and wanted to have me come in and try their services. Right now, honestly, I would say my skin needs are just maintain, and I guess maybe like skin hydration, all that in the winter. Okay, I also wanted to get into the whole, you found me at a very Chinese point in my life, and this whole topic right now is like really trending on social media, and you see a lot of non-Asian people kind of say like, oh, I'm not drinking cold water anymore, I'm drinking hot water. And I feel like, as I was saying, this was just like so like surface level. Like there's so much more to traditional Chinese medicine and all of the principles. And I guess I can just start off by saying that for me, growing up with a Chinese mom, like this stuff was very much just like normal and like almost second nature. Like drinking cold water wasn't even like a thing, okay? And get this, so much so that if you go back to China or Hong Kong, you literally will not find ice anywhere. Like it's not a thing for restaurants to have like ice water. They will always serve you warm water or hot water. Especially for women, it's like very emphasized to not drink or eat cold foods like salads and like smoothies. Like don't get me wrong, I did grow up in Canada and Vancouver, so I've had my fair share of like smoothies and salads. But also, let me say this, heat and like cold and temperature is such a popular thing also for TCM. And now I even tell like my white boyfriend about it, where like I don't eat lamb meat because it's very inflammatory and it's very like hot, so it's a very yang. I'll do a comparison right now of like yin and yang foods, because this is sort of also kind of principles that people in Asia will follow, and it's very much depending on the season of life you're in. So let's say it's winter, you're gonna naturally lean towards more yang foods. That's why so many more like hot pots and lamb and like meat roasts are more done during the winter. In the summer, you also have more cooling foods. Cooling, not like temperature like ice cold, but cooling in terms of watermelon, cucumber, bitter melon. Like that is really cooling. Crab is really cooling. And seafood, most of it's cooling. So you kind of see that it's broken up like very seasonal, and there's so much for like other things, but I guess like another one would be keeping your feet warm and like wearing scarves in the winter. Like there goes more to just like keeping warm and like bundling up in the winter. It goes to this sort of greater knowledge that when you expose yourself to like wind and like cold wind, you will absorb it, and then that cold wind is inside of you, so then you are sick. So keeping warm is like very important for Chinese people or people that do practice like TCM. I don't even want to say it's like TCM because I feel like it's just so normal for Asian people. Like they don't even think about it as like, oh, I'm practicing traditional Chinese medicine or like living by these principles. It's just literally their way of life, and like how even schools and education in Asia was sort of being created. A lot of it is around that. Okay, and another thing I feel like is so like would send like white people into a coma is the postpartum and confinement. And I think the word confinement like comes across like kind of like strange, but essentially after a woman gives birth in Asia, there's literally facilities that do this confinement, 30-day to like 60-day confinement. Obviously 60 days like it changes after the second month, but you basically do not do anything after you give birth. Like your body is supposed to just heal and have like goji berries and red dates and all of these other like natural remedies, but this makes or breaks like the rest of your life essentially, because a lot of women that don't do a good confinement or don't even do it at all and just like bounce back or, you know, start going back into the routine, going to the gym, all of these things, it's like your teeth will fall out so much quicker when you're older and like in your senior time. And then your hair will fall out. Like all of these things really do matter. And like a lot of women that have like certain chronic illnesses after their confinement, if they do like a really good confinement, it literally reverses all of that and you're like reborn in a way. As I was saying, like in Asia, there's facilities that help the mother do this where they will take the baby, the family will help, and then the mother is just like put on a pedestal. Like she cannot touch the ground, she can't brush her hair, she can't brush her teeth. She literally is just staying warm and eating like all of these warming foods to like, you know, warm up the womb again and kind of be reset in that way. You see like, okay, a big thing was the royal family, Kate Middleton, when she gave birth, the second or third day she was already doing press with the baby, which is like, okay, normal, you have a job to do, duties to do, but her legs were out, fully standing in like a little dress. And this absolutely like sent Chinese people because they were like, wow, like literally the queen, the future queen, the princess, royal family, they're not even getting like the good experience like of a postpartum confinement. Like it was mind blowing. Okay. So anytime I see like, you know, people that just give birth and mothers and stuff that go back to the gym or go back to their daily life, I'm like, you are aging yourself so much because that 1 month, that kind of 60-day period is so crucial for your body to like heal and, you know, all of that. Anyways, so that was my little tangent, but there's so much stuff in traditional Chinese medicine that I feel like is kind of now being shed a light on, but people actually don't know where it came from, the principles of it, and sort of just how almost regulated it is for most Asian people. So it's been 30 minutes. I'm now gonna add my rock sugar. Look at how cute, it's like little gemstones. I'm gonna do a heaping tablespoon of this. So just seeing right away, the pot has lost a lot of water, so I am gonna add some more water. I'm gonna boil some. Oh my God, she looks so good. Very like glossy. Okay, so I'm gonna do about a tablespoon of this, a big tablespoon. About that much, because I like it on the sweeter side. A little extra. Okay, I guess in some ways, traditional Chinese medicine is very much just holistic. Like their approach to health and wellness and all of the things are very much a holistic approach. So a lot of the herbs, a lot of the remedies, a lot of the medicine like TCM is very much natural and like from nature. So in that way already, it's just like a very holistic approach versus like a Western approach is very much medication and, you know, all of these other things that are quite harmful and have like really bad side effects. So I do feel very blessed that I do live a life where I can experience both cultures so strongly, if that makes sense. And like I can kind of sit in the middle and almost pick and choose, what do I like from this one? What do I like from this one? And almost like take the best out of both, just because I feel like knowledge is so powerful, and knowing about, you know, different cultures and their practices and principles, it's just like, I don't know, I feel like very philosophical talking about this. And if you know me, you know that I always have this like identity debate of like being a mixed kid, you really do have your own sort of like path and like line, if that makes sense. Just because you're not fully Chinese, you're not fully Caucasian either, or Western, or whatever your other mix is, but you kind of have this piece at being in the middle and sometimes leaning more right or more left or more Asian or more white. And it's really beautiful to see like even my own seasons of life, areas that I'm more Chinese, areas that I'm more Western. And yeah, it's just very beautiful. This is probably the hardest part, is taking it out now. So it's very like jelly-like, and you can just sort of see the bird saliva is like clear.